Hello, Ryan J. Pitts here. I'm going to make a metal plaque for my artwork that I just installed at the library. I used my Cricut to print out a vinyl graphic, and since I'm going to put this onto metal, not actually using the vinyl as the text, but I'm going to lay out the metal and then I'm going to acid etch over the words and transfer this to the metal. I've got a piece of sheet metal here. I've got it laid out. I'm going to cut it with a cutoff wheel. If I had a metal shear, I would use that, but I don't, so we're going to do it the caveman way, or the way that anybody could, with an angle grinder and a cutoff wheel. Let's the sparks fly. All right, easy. You can see this has a scale on it from the foundry, and then the other side is a little rusty. So I will sand this up and dip it into a solution that will clean this to bare metal, and then we'll do some shining up of it. All right, time to clean up the metal. Rusty scale from the foundry. I've got a solution of muriatic acid that you dip it in, and we'll leave it set for about 10 minutes and we'll pull it out. All right, we're back to check on the metal. Muriatic acid does a really good job of cleaning the scale off and the rust, as you can see. That'll all make it easier to sand and finish. After the muriatic acid, you want to put the metal in a baking soda water solution to neutralize it. That way it won't keep eating away at the metal. And now we've got a nice kind of clean palette to work with, much cleaner than it was. So now I can go work some magic on this. All right, here's the much cleaner piece of metal. We've got the bare metal I get to work with. I'm going to put a little grain on it, knock off some of the existing rust. Yeah, I like that. Putting the grain on it will help the text stand out, and I actually like the rust on the bottom too. I'm going to take a torch, I'll show you, and I'll put a framework around it. But yeah, getting there. Nice. So we'll do a little torching and then do the acid etching. All right, it's time to lay out the stencil and do the acid etching. I'm going to clean off the metal quick with some alcohol. And let's see, I think I want to do it this way. There we go. Okay, then we take our stencil here, made with the Cricut. It's vinyl, pretty sweet. I'm glad I bought one. They're relatively cheap, and I guess the weeding out of the letters and stuff is a little tedious, but for the way I'm using it, it works out perfect. Voila, the vinyl graphic that is on transfer tape. That allows you to keep everything together. And now the tricky part is just getting it where you want it, because once you stick it, it's there. And if that looks good to you, it sticks to your fingers, so be careful. Try that again. There we go. And then we'll kind of squeegee it on there, get the air bubbles out, and make sure the vinyl stays down. The smaller the letters, you have a lot of the little tiny insides, like the A's and the E's. They have the little leftover vinyl graphic that you want to stay adhered to your metal. See, I honestly haven't seen anybody use them for the metal etching purpose that I have, but I love it. If I just did the vinyl, then the vinyl would remain on there, but that can peel off over time or with weather. But I love metal, and when you etch the metal, it's there for quite a while, unless you're out in the elements and it starts rusting. Oh, we had a little issue with the E. We saved it. It's going to be okay. It can be nerve-wracking all the time you spend weeding stuff out. I mean, and this looks cool too, having the metal show through with the black vinyl. Again, the way I see it, the vinyl is kind of a temporary thing, depending on how it's displayed, but once you acid etch the metal, it's there. Yes, so far so good. All right, I love it. Yes, when I first got this, I wasn't sure how it would withstand to the acid etch. And when I say acid etch, this is just gun bluing. You can get it anywhere. They use it to put that bluing on gunmetal. And they have different kinds. This one in particular, the standard gun bluing, turns a shiny metal darker or black. They have another one called plum brown, which is pretty cool too. And if the metal is room temperature or cold, it'll turn the metal copper color, like what I'm doing now, instead of this darker. And it turns it copper, which has a really cool look to it too. It doesn't stand out as much on a shiny metal as the darker black bluing does. Yes, and all this acid, this gun bluing is doing is it's bringing the carbon out of the metal to the surface and essentially just making it rust really fast. And you only want to keep it on for a couple minutes. I'm going to try to get it going quickly. The longer, the deeper the etch. And then after, I'll go ahead and do the wipe down. You want to neutralize it with just plain water. That'll stop the chemical reaction with the bluing and the metal. Water does. And then I like to wipe it with some WD-40 or some kind of a metal rust preventative, just until I'm ready to clear coat it. That way I'll do a couple more lines. Smaller letters, easier to do. Yeah, I've been working with metal and making things for over 30 years, and I just last year discovered what I'm doing now as a way of kind of turning metal into really cool pieces, whether you're using text, quotes, or etching images too. I've done some really cool images on them. The most recent one was for a military retiree hammer, and it had some pretty intricate details on it. And again, the weeding out process and working with the image is super time consuming. But such is art. Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? As the shiny metal gets in touch with the acid and it reacts, turning it dark. And it really pops after I peel this off. It's quite awesome. And again, metal has been my medium for so long. I love all kinds of materials, wood, you name it. I think once you when you have that kind of desire to create things and craft things, it doesn't really matter what medium or form you're using. You really want to try it all and use it all. And sometimes you can work together and blend different mediums, whether it's wood, metal, or and that's the fun part about the creative process. Each time you do something, you learn something new, or it triggers something that has you question how it would work with another kind of application. It's the whole discovery part that's been fun for me. And creating things is just a tedious process, but tedious for me has always been fun. Just experimenting and spending that time, and then finally seeing the end product, which makes it all worth it. And then you start to just enjoy that tedious process, that mundane, if you will. Well, and honestly, look at our lives today. They're so simple. Everything's at our fingertips. Our telephones, our distraction devices. How much time do you spend on your phone? You don't have to tell me. You can look at an app that shows you how much time you're spending on your device and what you're spending it on, and just do that for a little reality check. And if you have a desire to create things, maybe take a block of that time and spend it on trying something new, something creative, something for your health. One of my favorite things. Okay, how's that look? It's all dark. Now we're gonna get some water and put it on a towel and wipe it off. This really turned out good. I like the grain that I put on it. Really helped bring the kind of the metal color, the darkening, the rust, so to speak, brought it up really good. Kind of uniform too, I like that. And when we peel all this off, you can really kind of admire. Woo, get back here! Okay, and then after you do that, you can start to notice the metal where we wiped it off is kind of starting to dull or turn a different color, and that's where we'll put a little WD-40 and then wipe it over all the letters to begin to stop the etching process, but also to make them stand out. I don't know if you can see from that angle, but it's yes. Then when you clear coat over this, it really brightens it up too and gives you a really distinct look. Nice. All right, who's ready to peel this off?